So, got another issue. Been having a problem with starting my boat, and this basically has been going on since the end of the last boating season. And I started digging around, thinking what could it be, and I was going to replace the coil, the distributor, and the plugs. I thought, well, maybe it was a fuse. It's a bunch of fuses. But this has happened a few times over the last 15 years I've had the boat. And what I found, it was actually easier than I thought. So over the years I've paid to get the boat fixed. The boat will start sometimes and just cut off. Well, this time it wasn't even starting, it was just turning over. And finally, I look in the carb. I'm like, man, the carb looks completely dry. So I go on YouTube, start looking around, and sure enough, I find a video. And when the boat's been sitting for a while, especially a carburetor, you need to prime the carb. So basically, that's what I did. I found a video. This guy's on there using one of these here syringes, basically this. And see if I can do this with one hand here. So you basically fill this thing here with gas. This is just a spray paint top. Now this is a V8 5.0 liter engine, so pretty big engine. So the guy on the video I was watching, he's like using one of these. He fills it with gas and then takes that gas and syringes it right down here into the vent port. Okay. So I fill this syringe with the gas, pour it down there. Eventually I just got frustrated and just took a small funnel, put it down there, filled it with gas. And I tried this with about this much fuel at first couple of times, and the boat started. Took a couple of times to get it started, but once it started, it finally ran, but then it quickly ran out. So I was like, well, hold on, this engine's pretty big, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna fill this thing up 2 or 3 times. And so I filled it up 2 or 3 times, and finally the boat, the manual fill pump finally kicks in and starts running. So apparently I wasn't priming it enough to get that fill pump to kick in and start. So just a little FYI, if you have a carb, boat's been sitting for a while, do not take your boat to the shop. I've done it twice over the last, like I said, 15 years. And basically, I'm paying $500 to $700 to get the thing serviced. And so this time, sure enough, I found a video that a guy on there was showing. Just got to prime this carburetor right there. Now, what was basically happening, it looks like the fill pump was just getting stuck. So eventually, I came over here, and as I'm cranking the boat, the fuel gauge is on empty. So I'm thinking I'm out of fuel, so I'm just putting as much fuel as I can in there. I also added some more fuel to the fuel tank, just about a gallon, no more than a gallon. And then I primed 2 capfuls of fuel straight into the carburetor. And I just turned the boat over, and this gauge here shows me on 3/4 of a tank. It was on empty and it was stuck. It would not move. Until finally I added enough fuel to that carburetor to where it got the fuel pump to pressurize, I guess, because now the gauge is showing 3/4 of a tank. So if you're out there and you got a carburetor, try that before you take your boat in to get it worked on. Anyway, thanks for watching.